Running a business comes with a lot of what ifs, but luckily there's a simple answer to them. Shopify. It's the commerce platform behind millions of businesses, including Thrive Cosmetics and Momofuku, and it'll help you with everything you need. From website design and marketing to boosting sales and expanding operations, Shopify can get the job done and make your dream a reality. Turn those what ifs into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
This is Whipping It Out with Anthony Cumia on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Now, here's Anthony Cumia.
Hey, everyone. Anthony Cumia here. Of course, we're whipping out free speech. That's right. And this is interesting. We actually put the word out to a lot of the people on X, through my X account, Anthony Cumia, for questions, things that they would like my opinion on, answers to, maybe me check a few things out that are going on in the world and in the country. And lo and behold, we actually got some constructive questions. I was very pleasantly surprised knowing my audience. I tease because I love people. This here is Bobby Higgs. Bobby Higgs 73 on X. Thank you for your question here. And it's about the New York City election that is coming up very quickly. Oh, my God. How do you feel about the Republicans asking Sliwa to drop out to help Cuomo win? I say F them. If New York wants Mamdani, let them have him. Why should we help Cuomo get elected? Thank you for your attention to this matter. Picking up on the Trump closer in his social media posts. Bobby, yeah, I've spoken about this before. And there are two schools of thought here. One is from the perspective of people called accelerationists. An accelerationist knows that eventually we're doomed. So let's put it in the context of New York City. We know New York is doomed, especially if someone like Mamdani gets in. But even if Mamdani doesn't get in, let's say Cuomo gets in, New York City's still doomed, but it's just going to take longer. And until something is destroyed, you can't restart and start the rebuilding process. And some people, accelerationists, they want the destruction to happen very quickly so that the rebuild can happen. We don't want to sit through this prolonged, protracted misery of watching something slowly rot away and decline, knowing that inevitably that's what's going to happen. We want it to happen very quickly and start the repairing process as fast as possible. So accelerationists want Mamdani to get in, not so much because they like him or even that they want to see New York go to hell, but it's inevitable anyway. Their take is it is happening, so let it happen faster, clean it up. I think even accelerationists would like more so to see Curtis Sliwa get in there and start the rebuilding process now. But that doesn't seem very viable. I love Curtis. Everyone knows my stance on the great Curtis Sliwa. I think he would make an outstanding mayor, especially when you put him next to Cuomo or Mamdani. But, you know, I don't know what it is with Republicans in New York City. Are they lazy? You just don't want to get up off your ass and go vote for your Republican candidate? If that's the case, then they, along with all the Democrats that will be voting for Mamdani and all the independents and undecided, everyone that just decides to sit home, they deserve every bit of a Zohran Mamdani mayor, New York mayorship. Good luck to you. So the dropout part of this thing, kind of goes, it's kind of the same line as what I was just talking about. New York deserves what they're getting. And I don't think Republicans should give Democrats what they want in a Cuomo New York City mayor. That would be great for Democrats that don't want Mamdani. The few Democrats that aren't batshit crazy that want Mamdani in there. You want Cuomo. You want a Democrat, even though he was a disaster as mayor. And why should Republicans help them? They should also have to deal with a Mamdani mayor in New York City. That's their ticket. That's their guy. The Democrats nominated him. So for Democrats to be crying to Republicans saying, oh, please get Sliwa out of there. Make Sliwa drop out so we don't have to deal with Mamdani and we can have Cuomo as mayor. No, screw you. And for the Republicans that are saying Sliwa should drop out and you should vote for Cuomo, you should be ashamed of yourselves. That is disgusting. You have a candidate, a valid, viable candidate in Curtis Sliwa, and you're telling your fellow Republicans that you want Sliwa to drop out so you can go to the voting booth and vote for Cuomo? What is wrong with you? There's a simple solution here. Get off your ass and vote for Curtis Sliwa. He's the Republican candidate. He's on all the ballots. This isn't a celebrity goof candidacy where you got to grab a piece of paper and write their name in. He's right there on the ballot. All it will take is for you to get up on election day, go down to a polling place and vote. And he could win. Oh, there's no way in hell Curtis could win. Well, he could if people voted for him instead of clamoring to get him thrown out so that you could have Mayor Cuomo. I have zero faith in the people of New York City to do the right thing and vote for Curtis Sliwa. You will have a Zohran Mamdani mayor. And unfortunately, this does play into the hands, or at least it's the best possible scenario for the accelerationist who wants the destruction of New York City, infrastructure, economically. They want crime to go up. They want all the badness that we're seeing to get worse. There's a great feeling in being able to say, I told you so. It's very juvenile. It's not very constructive, but ever since you were a kid, and I don't care if you're an adult now, there's still something. Maybe you don't even have to say it. Like as a kid, you'd be like, I told you so. Just knowing it and looking at someone, maybe a nod, maybe a look, and they know that you're saying, I told you so. That's what accelerationists want with a Mamdani New York City mayor. Because as it falls apart, fast free buses. You ever see the buses in India where you can't even see the bus? There's so many savages just piled on top of the buses. That's going to be your New York City MTA fast free buses. It's going to be a shelter, a rolling homeless mental patient shelter for the murderers, rapists, and ghouls that wander New York City streets. Do you think a homeless nut is going to lay on a sidewalk in 0-degree New York City winter weather when he can just, for free, hop on a bus and sit in one of those seats on a heated bus. He don't care where he's going. He's homeless. And if you are one of the poor souls in New York that work for a living and have to commute by public transportation and get to where you want to go to work or to shop or go home, you will be seated next to these insane people. And we've seen what happens on public transportation with these nuts and thugs. They don't care. They will murder you. And I'm not being, I'm not exaggerating here. So, you know, as far as wanting Sliwa to drop out, no. Screw him. I told you so. Let him do it. Let him run. If he loses, so be it. It's on no one but the Republicans for not getting out and voting, and live with Zohran Mamdani for at least 4 years. And you think Zohran's bad? We know a little bit about Zohran Mamdani. We know he's a communist. We know he's a Muslim, and he's an extremist. He hates the police. He hates public safety. He's behind giving every latitude to criminals to put them back out on the streets. We know this, and we know he's bad, and we know he's horrible for New York City. But wait till you see his appointments. Wait till you see who's going to be his cast of characters in his cabinet. You are going to see him dredge up some of the worst criminals, Islamic extremists, and, you know, people that are in charge of things like public safety that want nothing to do with the public being safe. So enjoy New York. I hope you have a great time. And I hope you got a lot of rest, you Republicans. I hope you relaxed. You watched your favorite TV shows on Election Day. I hope you did this. And it was worth 4 years of Zohran Mamdani because you couldn't get up and get out and vote for your candidate. You have a candidate, but you'd rather switch him out for Cuomo. Dopes. Enjoy, New York. Enjoy. The other question we got here, Jason, he is Reed Rothschild 08. Very good. I like the Boogie Nights reference there. Jason says there's a ton of stuff that I support about Trump, but the waiver that Pete Hegseth is requiring reporters to sign or be denied access is an awful misstep. Wondering what your thoughts on this issue is. Well, I've been hearing about this for a while, and the media, a large portion of the media, especially mainstream media, decided not to sign Pete Hegseth's waiver. They were given a lot of paper and told that they needed to read it and sign it in order to have access to the Pentagon, for the most part, the War Department of War. And I finally downloaded the whole thing and I read through it. And once again, no one's really getting the true story about this. It doesn't seem that bad, what I read. I was under the impression, based on what mainstream media was saying, and the fact that they wouldn't sign it. Now, signing it does seem to be like you don't want to sign something, especially if you're the media. It seems like you're going against some oppressive entity that's making you agree to something. You're the press. You're free. You should have free, open access to things. And while I understand that, what I'm getting from this, from Hegseth's policy here that has to be signed, 99% of this is security. It's all about security. The media is terrible with leaking information. If you give them unfettered access to wander around the Pentagon, they are going to leak things that they see that is detrimental to the country because they're trying to stick it to one of Trump's cabinet members, like Hegseth, or some of the staffers at the Pentagon. A lot of it is security. Have your badge. Keep it. Don't lose your badge. You're not allowed to wander around the halls. You can't take guests in with you because they allow press to take other press members, family and friends, without an escort on certain floors and certain wings of the Pentagon. This is interesting. This is just a general security paragraph. And it says, members of the media do not possess a legal right to access the Pentagon. Rather, such access is a privilege subject to discretion of governmental authorities and is regulated by federal law and Department of War policy. Legally, the press has no greater right of access than the public does. While members of the news media may be granted access under certain conditions, this is a privilege extended by the government and not a constitutionally protected right. So this isn't unconstitutional. This isn't Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump taking away something from the media, making them sign a piece of paper that is against anything. You're not signing away any of your rights. The other thing, and I don't know what the access was given to the Pentagon, but apparently no access can be given to the Pentagon. And that would be just as constitutional. They talk about prohibited rings, ring A through E, corridor 1, 10, and 9, ring E, metro entrance corridor. So there's a bunch of areas that I don't think any of us really know where or what they are that are prohibited to the press, unless if the press comes to an official and says, I need access to these areas for some reason. If they're granted access, they can go to these areas with an escort, not, a prostitute, an escort from the Pentagon. Then we have escort privileges and procedures. Again, you must wear your credentials above the waistband of your pants. A lot of logistics and things like that. Issuance of renewals of press passes. So a lot of it has to do with the pass itself. Press parking. There's two pages of this is just where the hell is the press parking? Filming, photography, pre-approved, and exemptions. The news media do not need to obtain permission in advance for filming, photography, or audio recordings in the following circumstances: the press briefing room in the Pentagon, press event announcements, unilateral news media stand-ups in the Pentagon briefing room. There are certain areas that they don't want the media in. These are secured areas. So they had to agree not to go in these areas. A lot to do with security risks. Foreigners bringing, with your press credentials, bring foreigners into the Pentagon. They need to undergo more scrutiny. So what I'm seeing here is it doesn't have anything to do with the right of the media to report what's going on in the Pentagon, to talk with high up Pentagon officials, to have access to areas that don't have to be secured. So, Jason, thanks for the question. And initially, when I read your question, I was like, yeah, I don't, there is a weird feeling that the government is telling the media to sign something to have access like this. But from what I see, it's a security issue. A lot of it is very logistical, your badge, where your badge should be on your body, where you park your car. So reading through it, which I think everybody should do when they have questions about things like this, read it, see what it is. I really don't have a problem with this. I don't really see it as a problem. Well, thank you. I hope we can do this again where you guys send in questions and I address them here on Whipping Out Our Freedom of Speech. And we'll see you Sunday, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. on my WABC radio show, 77 WABC. Download the app at the App Store, 77 WABC, and you could listen to me anywhere. Thank you. See you next time.
Thanks for listening to Whipping It Out with Anthony Cumia. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?